Hello, my name is Antonio. My page is Unapologetic Black AD West. I like to ask that you like and subscribe to the page and share this message on YouTube. What I want to talk to my people today about is black people because we have been judged and beaten down so much that we refuse to use discernment. What do I mean by that? I mean we refuse to acknowledge the fact that Europeans are violent people and they have a violent nature, and us our inability to use discernment leaves us continuously vulnerable to their violent behaviors. I can say this with with facts that Europeans are violent based off of their violent actions and their actions towards black people. If you look at Leopold II, the King of Belgium, who was given control of the Congo, and how he killed 10 million Congolese, and his conditions caused the deaths of uh, 30, 40 million more Congolese. You have to understand, I can say these things.
10 million people. According to Britannica, how did Leopold II become famous? Although Leopold II established Belgium as a colonial power in Africa, he is best known for the widespread atrocities that were carried out under his rule, as a result of which as many as 10 million people died in the Congo Free State.
I can say the fact that they was cutting off black people hands in the Congos, and then over there in Belgium they start selling chocolate covered hands. They start selling chocolate hands. This became a delicacy over there, celebrating and congratulating the atrocities committed against black people in the Congos. Chocolate hands sold in Belgium.
Antwerp hands. According to Chocolat, Antwerp hands are a traditional gift and an official Antwerp quality product. This luxury box contains 48 plain chocolate hands in white, dark and milk chocolate. The Antwerp hands are a traditional gift and an official Antwerp quality product.
I could say white people are violent due to the fact that white people invented the concept of World War. World War I was so violent it killed 20 million people, causing directly, and caused another 20 million people to die or be injured. On top of that, how many people died in World War I?
According to Census.gov, the total number of military and civilian casualties in World War I was around 40 million. There were 20 million deaths and 21 million wounded.
Within 20 years after World War II, first of all, after World War ended, and the white Americans have went over to Europe and seen the Holocaust and the treatment of Jews, they came back to America and enacted the Red Summer of 1919 and was burning down black people communities and was slaughtering black people in mass numbers. We had a process where we went through the hanging black people from trees. Europeans gathered with their whole entire families. So regardless what you say about black people, you can talk about some form of gang culture, but we do not have generations involved in this activity. You don't have grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, grandson, and son out there all gang banging together over a dead body on a consistent basis like you did with the Europeans. They were so much into the violent treatment of black people that they made postcards out of the lynchings. They were so much into the violent and inhumane treatment of black people that they used to use black babies as alligator baits. So saying that white people have a violent nature and have a low threshold for black people humanity is using discernment. It is not judging, it is not being racist, it is factual. When you look at their policies and practices right now and their inability to denounce those prior behaviors, their fights to maintain their connections to those Confederate monuments shows you how much they are still connected to this inhumane behavior. How many people died in World War II?
According to Defense Casualty Analysis System, official casualty sources estimate battle deaths at nearly 15 million military personnel and civilian deaths at over 38 million.
So saying white people is violent is using discernment. It is not being racist. There is a difference. This is based off the actions and the treatment that us as black people receive from white people. Why are you scared to acknowledge the fact that white people are violent? You allow white people have continuously places negative connotations on black people, saying that we are lazy. This comes from a group of people who claim to have done the transatlantic slave trade to go all the way over to Africa to force people to labor for them. You allow people to tell you that you are violent and speak about the violence in your community, ignoring the violence that it took from them to enslave another group of people, ignoring the violence that they enforced upon this group of people to enforce Jim Crow and the main Jim Crow for so long. But you ignore the fact of why we had to have the Black Lives Movement due to the police killing us and having and there being no person held accountable for those actions. All these violent acts, but you allow Europeans to call you violent. Black people, it's time to use discernment. Call it what it is, because your failure to call it what it is leaving you, your wife, your children, all vulnerable to these white people violent tendencies.